Hey there, and welcome. I am so thrilled you're joining us today. We're about to jump into this explainer and transport ourselves way back in time to explore one of the most powerful, mysterious, and just flat out magnificent places on the planet, the ancient kingdom of Great Zimbabwe. We're going to look closely at some absolutely fascinating evidence today, and by the time we wrap up, you'll know exactly why this place is considered one of the greatest civilizations in human history. So what secrets are hidden inside the massive stone walls of southern Africa? I want you to use that question as our guiding light today. Think of yourselves as historical detectives, all right? We aren't just reading history here, we're investigating it. We're searching for clues about how people lived, how they constructed these mind-blowing structures, and how they built a thriving empire. So are you ready to uncover a massive archaeological mystery? Let's get into it. Okay, let's dive into Section 1. Welcome to Great Zimbabwe. Let's kick things off with a clear definition so we're all on the same page. Great Zimbabwe is an ancient African site located in the southern part of the continent, right in the modern-day country that actually shares its name, Zimbabwe. But listen, Great Zimbabwe wasn't just some regular town. No, this was the beating heart, the capital city of the Kingdom of Zimbabwe. It's most famous today for the totally breathtaking stone ruins that its people left behind. Back in its day, it was a place of immense power and incredibly vibrant life. Moving right along to Section 2, a golden trading empire. Now, I want to anchor us in time for a second. The era of Great Zimbabwe starts with the kingdom really beginning to flourish around the 11th century CE. Then, from the 11th all the way through to the 15th century CE, it hits its absolute peak of trade and political power. We're talking about hundreds of years of incredible dominance and a totally thriving culture. That's a super long time for a civilization to stay on top. But then, by the 15th century CE, the site becomes largely abandoned. We'll get to that mystery in just a bit, but first, let's figure out how they got so powerful. Now, what's really interesting here is that Great Zimbabwe didn't just stumble into all this wealth. They were the ultimate middlemen. They cleverly controlled the vital interior-to-coast trade routes. This meant they had exclusive access to highly valuable resources, and they exchanged gold from the deep interior, traded precious ivory, and swapped all these goods with merchants traveling from the Swahili coast and even beyond. Controlling these vast networks made the kingdom incredibly wealthy and, as a result, hugely powerful politically. They were basically major global players of their time. Which brings us to Section 3, Masters of Stone Architecture. The massive stone ruins left behind are a brilliant testament to the engineering and architectural prowess of its ancient inhabitants. The people of Great Zimbabwe didn't just stack rocks, guys. Here's a mind-blowing fact for you. They engineered these towering walls using dry stone masonry. That means they built them without using a single drop of mortar to hold the millions of stones together. None. It takes some serious mathematical and architectural genius to pull off dry stone building on this kind of massive scale. And this brilliantly illustrates how the city was laid out, with two main areas we need to focus on. On one side, we have the Great Enclosure. This is their most iconic structure, a massive, sweeping, elliptical stone wall. On the other side, up above, we have the Hill Complex, which served as the royal residence. By contrasting these two, you can really see how the city functioned. You've got these massive, awe-inspiring defensive walls down below and an elevated, highly secure area up high where the king and royalty actually lived, looking out over their golden trading empire. To really wrap your head around their engineering skills, just think about this number, 250. That's 250 meters. And that is just the gigantic circumference of the Great Enclosure's outer stone wall alone. Imagine running around a huge track at your school. That's the scale of this continuous, giant stone wall that these ancient architects built entirely by hand. It's honestly just staggering to think about the sheer amount of labor and skill it took to pull that off. Let's shift gears a bit. Section 4, the mystery of decline. So what happened to this thriving, wealthy city by the 15th century CE? Seriously, how does a kingdom that rich, with walls that thick, suddenly just fall apart? Let's take a look at the evidence and see what we can find. Let's walk through the main suspects for the city's decline, kind of like a detective's case board. Suspect number 1, environmental degradation. It's possible the land was farmed too heavily, or maybe crucial resources like wood and water just ran out, making it impossible to support such a huge population. Suspect number 2, shifts in trade routes. Remember how their massive wealth relied on controlling trade? Well, if merchants found new, easier routes that totally bypassed the city, the money would just stop flowing. And suspect number 3, political instability. Sometimes empires literally fall from the inside out because of arguments over who should rule. It was very likely a combination of all 3 of these things that slowly weakened this once mighty kingdom. And the result was a pretty stark new reality. By the 15th century CE, the site was largely abandoned, and the once unified kingdom was fragmented into smaller states. The great kings were gone, the merchants had packed up and moved on, and the active, bustling life of the city came to a quiet close, leaving only those giant stone walls behind. Let's move to our final chapter, Section 5, an enduring African legacy.
Today, Great Zimbabwe stands as a symbol of African ingenuity and resilience. So the crucial point is, when people look at these massive stone walls today, they don't just see a bunch of rocks. They see rock-solid proof of the brilliant minds, the immense strength, and the incredible capabilities of ancient African civilizations. It absolutely commands respect and awe.
And you can see its modern impact all around us. The legacy of Great Zimbabwe endures so strongly in the cultural identity of the region that the modern-day country of Zimbabwe literally took its name from this very kingdom. How cool is that? On top of that, it's officially recognized globally as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which means the entire world agrees this place is so special it must be protected. Today, it attracts global visitors who travel from all over just to marvel at its ancient splendor. Which leaves us with this final, really exciting thought. After marveling at its ancient splendor, what other mysteries of Great Zimbabwe's past will future generations unravel? As future historians and archaeologists, and hey, maybe even some of you watching this explainer right now, you might be the ones to finally discover the definitive reason why the city fell, or dig up new artifacts that have been hidden beneath the soil for centuries. The walls are still standing, and they're still waiting to tell the rest of their story. So keep questioning, keep investigating, and I'll catch you in our next explainer.